I see the little red thing in the corner.
That means we are live on this Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
So glad to be back with y'all. Let's get it.
This is great.
Hi, guys, and welcome to Tangy Tea of Life. I am your host, Veronica, back with y'all tonight on this
Oh, I was about to say, where the bell at?
There you go, baby.
My bomb kind of low now.
A little too close.
Yeah, I'm moving mine around too. I got lights in the background.
Let's see. I'm trying to tag you guys.
Let me wipe my
What's
head.
going on? Victor, back with us tonight.
Who?
My brother Victor.
No.
That ain't my
Oh, Mr. Bring Your Wallet.
What did it say?
Mr. Bring Your Wallet with you.
Please bring your wallet with you. Please.
I
I had to pick a new spot tonight. I got tired. Since I got picked at for being in the closet, now I'm in my bedroom.
Gotcha.
So
Well, show the bed. Let's see if it's made up.
Okay.
Oh shit, no. No, it is definitely not made up. It is thrown all over the place. No.
Gotcha.
Not made up.
So what's up with the name? What's up with that? Mr. Bring Your Wallet with you.
You know, just in case the date ain't going right, she need to bring her wallet with her. That's how I feel. Plus, I'm on that wine tonight, so I'm gonna be a little sophisticated. I'm drinking a little bit of wine.
He drinking wine tonight.
Dang, I wish I had a glass.
I just got something a little light tonight. I ain't no big avid wine drinker, but I'm a little light tonight.
Okay. Getting a little lit. What's going on, Brother Fatine, all the way from New York, WBLS radio station?
Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm wearing my sister station tonight, Hot 97, the hip hop station. I'm gonna hang out with the young folks. Hey, yeah, hip hop, Def Jam. Def Jam. That's it. Yeah, hang out with the young folks tonight.
Oh man, I can't think of her name, but I'm trying to think. Is that the station that
Angela Martinez?
Yes.
Used to work. She used to work. Her last day here before she left here, and she wound up going to the competitor Power 105 here in New York, where they got the Breakfast Club. So Angie's over at that station. But I was in the studio with her, Fat Joe, and Taraji P. Henson came by. A lot of people came by, and
that's actually that's competition for you, all right? Y'all competitors now, right?
Yeah. Their morning show goes up against Ebro in the morning here in New York City. Yep. And Ebro is syndicated also now.
That's
why are they telling me I need to make my I'm single. I am not making up my bed.
Oh, Victor. Well, guys, welcome to Tangy Tea of Life. Here we talk about any and everything. It goes down right here on the tea. There's no telling what we talk about here. So we are happy to have all of you joining us tonight. What's good? Lisa, we see you, Jill. Jill was on the show Tuesday.
Enjoyed it.
Yes, we waiting for her to make her way back. Cheryl, good to see you. Brittany Jefferson, who started out the tea with me, is joining us tonight. Hey, Britt. Tracy Stevenson. Hey, Stevenson. And all of you out there, Miss Sadie, who is watching the tea. We appreciate you guys.
Better give Cheryl poison. Cheryl, I'm giving you a bell so she can be on my good side tonight. Because she said cut my mic off last week.
I think Miss Sadie go to bed before I do, because I swear we 8:30, she going to bed.
Right. She'll be saying, all right, have a good night, y'all. Pretty soon. 8:30, she's out of here.
Chickens, that's what's happening. Y'all in the South. In the South.
But guys, welcome to Tangy Tea of Life. We're so glad to have y'all joining us tonight.
I'm gonna drink out the bottle tonight.
Might as well.
Hey, why not? You got your women bring their own wallet, so you know.
Yeah. Your bed is unmade, you know. So what the hell? Ain't no problem. You good?
Why not? Mm-hmm. That single life, Vic.
Yeah, that's right. Bachelor life. I give you a bell, my brother. I remember them days. Those were good days.
Good days for tea, huh?
Good days.
All right, guys. So let's jump right into this letter. We have an email letter tonight. And let me just say, I appreciate all of you for writing, sending us letters to the tea so that we can, have these topics, these conversations, which is always juicy, pretty juicy. But tonight, this one is kind of serious, so let's get right into it. It says, my husband is too strict on our kids, and his behavior is pushing me away. Happy birthday to your daughter, Mr. Bring Your Wallet With You.
I'll let him know.
All right, so it says, I feel like my husband is just downright mean to our children. Our son is 16 years old and our daughter is only 12. He's always down talking them, making them feel less than. He never has anything nice to say. My son asked him the other night to take him to the football game, and his response was, go sit down. Why would you want to go see them play when you had a chance to try out for the team, but your scary ass was too afraid? It's things like that. I can't stand his tone when speaking to them. I feel that his attitude is not only turning me against him, but the kids are feeling the same way. They don't even like going to him for anything because he's always so negative, always cursing at them. I can't take it anymore. I really don't want to leave my husband, but his behavior stresses me out. My doctor had to put me on medication for stress. That's how bad it's become. He doesn't spank my son anymore, but he does spank my daughter. I get sick to my stomach every single time. Now, I must say she stays in trouble at school and the things she does deserve punishment, but not spankings. He will not let me do the discipline. Only he is allowed to discipline the children. Should I leave my marriage of 14 years because of this or hold on to what God has put together? Signed, Concerned Mom. Well, sometimes we get caught up in saying things like, should I hold on to what God has put together? Are you really certain that God is putting this relationship, this marriage together, which is another topic for another day? But we have to be careful when we're saying what God has put together, because sometimes God is not the one that's putting that together. We actually putting it together ourselves when we shouldn't be putting it together. But anywho, it sounds like he is very controlling, not only to the kids, but he is controlling to you as well. So you are the mom of these two kids, 16 and 12 years old, and you mean to tell me that you can't discipline your kids? Only he can do the discipline in the house? Okay, I have a problem with that. I don't so much have a problem with him disciplining the kids as far as spanking. I grew up, we got beatings, spanked or whatever. But Vic already know. But I don't know how I feel about him, the only one doing the discipline in the house. It just don't sit well with me. Like I said, it sounds like he is controlling not only to the kids, but he's also controlling to you. It's not good to have that, to make kids afraid of you. Not, of course, not being, you have to be friends with your kids, but when you scare them like that, they can't even come to you to ask you a question. They can't come to you for advice. That's a problem. And it seems like this has been going on for a very long time. So you have the kids now afraid to come to you for anything. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bring Your Wallet With You. to see how, bring your wallet with you to see how he feel about this.
Well, I was all into the letter until she said about when she started talking about should she leave her marriage. I mean, I am definitely not qualified to answer that question. But I can just only tell you, maybe give you a slight perspective from the other side. So sounds like to me, dude is I wouldn't say he is controlling, but it sounds like his job, he don't know how to turn it off. He sounds like a pastor to me. He sounds like a job where he is an authoritative figure and he doesn't know how to turn it off. But at the same time, I get it. You know, you want to bring some structure into your home, but I have a tendency of sometimes doing that too. Especially with my daughters, and I realize that I have to tone it down a lot with them. But there's no excuse for anybody the way they talk to their children or whatever. But I can't tell this man how to raise his kids. Only she can. And apparently she's not doing that. So 16 years into the son's life, I mean, this is all he knows. So I mean, for his father to stop, it'd be kind of weird. So even if she leaves the marriage, I assume he's still going to do it. So I mean, that's just a conversation she's going to have with him. But what he said about the football thing, I get it. I may not would have said it like that, but I get it. You feel like your son should have been playing. You felt like your son should have at least put forth the effort, and he didn't. But you're trying to live your dreams through your child, But I'm gonna say I'm gonna let Fatim go ahead and get him the business.
Well, you went right there. Here's a couple of things. So I'm gonna go where you went just now. So that right there, where a parent, putting that pressure on your child to do what you just said, Victor. I'm totally against that. At the end of the day, you had your chance as a child to do whatever you do. If you was a star on the team, I was a baseball. I played baseball. I did my thing. I put it like that. And then I had girls, and I wanted to see my daughters compete and be competitive at the end of the day, but I couldn't force them. But let's back this up. So the first thing is being strict and abusive is two different things. This SOB is abusive. Abuse does not always have to be physical. I don't know how, she said that he doesn't spank the son because I guess the son is older, but he still spanks the daughter. I'm not going to get into that part because I receive spankings, and Victor, and I respect what Victor said. He cannot tell this man how to raise his child because Victor has his own way of raising his children. And at the end of the day, we may agree or disagree, but we can't tell someone how to raise their children unless they are abusive. And I think, this whole thing about R. Kelly, and I'm not bringing up R. Kelly to talk about R. Kelly, but a lot of people say, well, if you knew these things were going on, why didn't you say anything? If a child is being abused, then the other parent that's seeing this child is being abused has to do something, has to step in. You do whatever you have to do. If you have to leave this SOB, you leave him. You have to protect those children. At the end of the day, being strict, I can deal with. Being abusive, I cannot deal with at the end of the day. Number two, what kind of marriage are you in that he only disciplines the children, but you can't discipline the children? You're the one that carried those children for 9 months. You're the one that went through pushing them out or had a C-section or however you delivered those children, and you can't discipline your children. You sound like you were in an abusive marriage. I think you need to look yourself in the mirror and reevaluate what you're doing. Number three, I may piss off some religious people. I don't give a damn. God didn't bring y'all together. You brought your own self together. God gave us will to choose between this and that. Y'all chose each other. God didn't bring y'all together. You might have got married in the church under God, but at the end of the day, You chose to be together, and if this is not working, then you choose not to be together. That's what you got to do, and that's what I got to say right now. I don't like to see children bullied. I don't care if the parent or not. I don't. And one more thing, I'm sorry. My father was not abusive, but he yelled at me, and to the point I jumped, and it created anxiety. And I had to go on medicine for a moment. So my mom's had to get in my father's backside to say, yo, you got to learn how to talk to him. And when I became 16 and I got older, me and my father had a much better relationship. I didn't give him anything to yell at me. And if he had to discipline me, he spoke with me, and we had a great relationship. So that yelling and all that of being abusive is crazy. Sorry to be animated tonight, but I don't like to hear where any parent is being abusive to children, because we have to protect our children.
Now, I'm gonna say this: when it comes down to being bullied, we all look at discipline differently. You know, I take the non-spank approach. I feel like, but those are my children, and I feel like I've only spanked two of them one time, and my middle child has never gotten a spanking from me. So I look at it differently. I am the more stern, talk to you parent. I'm going to get up on you. I'm going to raise my voice, but I'm not going to touch you. But that's just my style, and that's what works in my home. That's not that my approach does not work in everybody else's home, because my children's mother, she cut tail, and she don't do all that talking and stuff. She just gonna cut butt and keep it moving. And these are the same kids, and we are two different parents raising the same kids with two different approaches. So I get it, but I just feel like they both, if the children gonna complain anyway, but she is saying, this is her perspective, saying that he's bullying the kids and he's doing this and he's doing that. But I'm also want to take a step back. Maybe she's just too soft and not that stern parent that needs to, because if this guy was really a bully, I feel like at 16 years old, he still would have been spanking his son, but he cut it off because he's becoming a man, and or he was scared of his son, either way. And he knows that it is not okay to do that to an adult or a young man becoming an adult.
Well, and you say she may be sensitive, but that's the thing. When it comes to moms, I feel like we are more sensitive when it comes to how you speak to our children, no matter, the father, the uncle, the grandpa. Man, I just feel like we are more sensitive with how you speak to our children, because I feel like when my son hurt, I hurt. If his dad say something to him, and I'm like, I'm not going to say anything like, why you say that, but I'm be like, inside, like,
yeah,
because I'm sensitive with that. It's okay if I yell and scream, but when it comes to his
That's why moms got to let go of their son sometime and let the father raise their son sometime.
But you see what's going on? You're doing exactly what he's doing in this letter. You're just not yelling, but like you said, she's saying that he's doing too much. That's just like you. Oh, don't yell at my child, but that's his daddy.
Well, no, I'm not going to say that to him. I mean, unless he get downright crazy with it.
Right.
But I mean, I'm going to give him that respect to discipline his son. But I'm just saying, like, I will cringe inside, like,
Oh, well, could I just jump in there real quick? I'm with you, Veronica. Not that I'm going against you, Victor, but I want to just step in as a man, as a father, because when my daughters got disciplined and I saw it coming from their moms, and she cut their ass because they didn't do something, and I saw them tears, oh my God, it hurt me in my heart. But you know what? She had to. I was standing right with her, and she did what she had to do. I think maybe one time I may have said something, in a sense, because it was just a buildup. But at the end of the day, I want to just say it's not just a woman. It's sometimes both parents. But at the end of the day, we both discipline our children. And if our children crossed the line, they knew what crossing the line, and then when they would get a spanking or a punishment or whatever. And yeah, it hurt me too. I don't want to just put it on just women. It hurt me inside, but I didn't baby them at the end of the day, so. That's the whole thing.
I guess because I was a non-hands-on parent, I would always save my kids from butt cuttings. And I guess, Tina would always, I ain't gonna say she would always, but she wouldn't cut their rump in front of me. It would be like pop, 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 and I'd hear it. And then they come running around there. And I guess because I got enough ass cuttings for all the viewers on this panel. I can tell you that now. I probably got more beatings than anybody. But my whole thing is coming up when it comes to discipline is if you're going to issue out a corporal punishment, you need to make sure that child knows why you're doing it. And you need to make sure that this child understands, right from wrong. If you just cutting butt just to be cutting butt, to me, that makes no sense.
I agree with you.
My main thing is, I've always said this to any parent. If you beat your child for making a bad grade, that means you was a straight A student and you make no mistakes. And I'm not saying, when it comes to trying, that's just me. But if you didn't help your child do the work that they was assigned to do, if you didn't help them and they got a bad grade, then what's the deal? I mean, we all want our kids to succeed, but some of us need to realize our kids are not going to be doctors. They're not going to be, astrophysicists. We just hope that our children stay out of jail.
And you can't beat children out of your own frustration.
Exactly.
When you're mad, that's sometimes it's the worst time to discipline your child, because at the end of the day, sometimes you're getting that anger and that stress, you're taking it out. Did you ever see a parent or a grandparent or a guardian beat a child and talk as they beat? Didn't I tell you that anger? That's not good. That's not great at all. And then when I remember also when I discipline my children, it's certain things. First of all, I wouldn't hit them with my hand if I gave them a spanking, and there's certain places on their body I wouldn't hit them with. But at the end of the day, but as they got older and they were older girls and they were good girls, I got away from that physical discipline and had to deal with punishment, and punishment did work.
Well, you definitely have to step back and take a moment before you go in and start, spanking and discipline. You have to take a moment because, like you say, Fatine, it's like, I think you'll regret it at the end if you go in being mad. You have to breathe first. I've learned that because I used to go in on my son when I used to be mad instead of calming down first and then, discipline him. But I want to get into some of these comments quick. Michaels said, wow, he needs counseling and or talk with a preacher with everyone to see what the issue is. So he's saying, I guess, like family counseling for everyone. Let's see, Jillian says, you both need to be on the same page with discipline the children. Sit down and have a conversation with the kids. Find out what's bothering them. Sometimes they act out because of what's going on at home, not just at school. And that's a big fact right there. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, the kids are going through something and, they're acting out for that attention. And we have to sit down with them and find out what it is. Right. Stevenson says, maybe she is getting in trouble in school because she is not getting the affection from her father at home from the man that she first loved. And yes, he is too strict on them.
Well, wait a minute. Before we say that, that's her side. That's her side. So we need to also realize we're getting one side of the story.
Yeah. As always, we get one side. We love to hear what the father would have to say. Tasha says the daughter could be acting out in school because of the environment at home. That's her way of an outlet. And I would seek counseling first, but if nothing better, she may need to leave to protect her children in the long run. Yeah. And, so we hate to hear about divorce and, leaving a relationship, but sometimes you do have to do what you have to do. But I wouldn't count counseling out first.
Right, that's true.
Maybe you all should sit down and go to counseling and to figure out what is going on first before you make that big step of leaving the marriage.
Wait a minute. So she wants to leave this guy because he's too hard on his kids. But if they get a divorce, he's still going to be around his kids.
Unless
unless she gets full custody. If she goes at an abuse situation, she may get full custody if she goes at him with abuse. And those kids, if you know about, I don't know what they call protective services down there. You let the protective services come in and ask those kids, do they feel that they being abused by their father verbally? And them kids say, yeah, that father won't get. He will get custody from the point of someone being there. You can't just because he's the father.
Wait a minute. We in the South. All right.
Right.
This is the conservative South. We're in the Bible Belt where people think ass cuttings are a sign of love. He is going to get custody. He's going to at least get, because they're married, he's going to get joint custody of his kids. They're not going to do that.
That's not guaranteed.
Yeah, yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not if it's abuse in this. If there's abuse,
it's not
proven.
Abuse.
You can't say. So you're telling me if you interview those kids, if protective services step in, their job is to protect those kids. You're telling me protective service is going to say, "Oh, well, you know what? Ass cuttings is good in the Bible Belt. You know what? That's not abuse. You get joint custody." That's crazy.
Okay. Now,
I'll be quiet.
You think that every child that's ever called Child Protective Services that they took those kids away from the parents? Hell no. Because if that was the case, you couldn't touch nobody. You couldn't touch your child. So I'm telling you what's going to happen. They're going to get up in that court and she's going to say this. They're going to get a guardian ad litem to come up in there and do this and do that. And that guy's may or may not say, yeah, I discipline my kids. He has every right to do that, to discipline his children. But how is he abusing the kids if he's not even beating the 16-year-old anymore?
Because the way because abuse is not always physical. Vic, I don't want to say Mr. Bring You the Wallet with you right now. On the serious side, abuse can be verbal and mental. And if these kids are showing signs of anxiety or acting out, that is a sign of abuse, bro. And people will be sued if you don't protect those kids. If abuse is present, I'm not talking about
so we're acting like that. So we're going to act like the judicial system works. So we're going to sit here and act like there is nothing slips through the cracks and everything is 100%. These people with the court cases now, if he ain't going upside her head, they are not going to sit here and say she's going to get her divorce. If you want to lead a man, lead a man. But he's still going to have some type of custody and he's still going to want to come around his children.
Right.
It's going to happen. She can't stop
I said, and I'm gonna rewind this. I said, if abuse is proven in their marriage, and she goes for full custody, and abuse is proven, he will not get. I want to say the word sugar, honey, iced tea, and I don't care what you say. But you're right. If abuse is not proven, then maybe he will. I'm saying if abuse is proven and it's on the record, they cannot put their children in that man's hands unless he goes to counseling. And after he has seen his children supervised after time and he gets better, then he may get more custody.
You really think it works like that? No, it doesn't.
Well, then the South is backwards then, because it works up here like that.
Veronica, put my girl Jackie comment up there about something that happened with her ex. She said her ex beat his daughter. You see it right above Marvin. And I'm telling you, it doesn't. I don't know what Jackie? You do enough. I can only speak, Jacquue.
Jackie
that's
Hahn.
How she spell it.
Jackie Hahn. She said my.
Yeah, that's how she spell her name, Jackie.
Jackie. Jacquue. Jackie
Hahn. There it is. She says my ex beat his daughter with a belt. Cops came and the officer told his daughter he had the right to, and corporal punishment was allowed in South Carolina. I was shocked myself. I don't lay hands on my kids. I'm telling you, this is the South, bro. That is going to happen. people are going to beat their kids. Now, if they ain't got no marks or they ain't bleeding, them cops ain't gonna do nothing. But if he put his hands on his wife, that's different.
I
We
said
talking about his kids.
I said abuse. If abuse is proven
What's
in
abuse?
court, abuse, bro. I'm not a lawyer here. I said if abuse is proven. Well, you know what abuse is? When you go across the line and you talk down to your kids to the point that it affects them. If you beat your kids to the point they have marks on them, yes, that's abuse. And I don't give a damn what. Let me tell you, if my other half or whoever it is, don't have to be beat my kids and put marks on them, they're gonna deal with me. Because I don't give a damn what the police come and say.
So you just said if I talk bad to my kids till it affects them, the reason I'm talking to them is because I want to affect them.
I'm talking about where abuse is proven, Victor. There's a line that has to be crossed. I'm not a judge, dude. I'm not in the court down there. I'm saying if abuse is proven in the relationship that is abuse against those kids, there will not be joint custody. That's all I said. If abuse is proven against those kids, there will not be joint custody. That's all I said.
I don't know how the court system works, but I do feel like if she take him to court and if they ask for these kids to speak up, and if these kids are saying that they are afraid of their father, I doubt very seriously that he will get custody of these kids without someone being there to
supervise it.
Yeah, to supervise while he's with them. I mean, I don't know how the court system works when it comes to that, but that just sounds kind of strange if a parent is going to the court.
Y'all got a lot of faith in this damn court system.
Like I said, I don't know how the court system works, but I'm just saying the right thing to do if the kids speak up and say that they are afraid of their dad, their dad is abusive towards them, you would think that the court would not give him visitation rights without someone being present.
That's the case. Then what happens when the mother, and I'm not condoning this shit, but I just want y'all to see how you do not take the child's word for it all the times, because you will have that other parent that will get in that child's head and tell that child what to say in court.
That's true.
I'm not condoning no kind of abuse, but I just want y'all to see that it is not as honky-dory as y'all think it is with this court system. It is
it's not.
We're not saying that.
It's not. It's
but
not.
What you're saying is somebody's gonna come in, they're gonna appoint somebody. They don't appoint anybody. You have to pay for that. Do you realize that, right?
Okay, but if my ex or whoever is being abusive to the kids, I don't care paying money so that I can be there with them or have somebody there.
But everybody ain't got that kind of money. We're talking about $3,800, anywhere from $3,800 to $5,000 just
per
for the
visit.
guardian. Go ahead.
Per visit, you're saying?
No, it's $3,800 to $5,000 for a certain amount of time. But if y'all can't come to an agreement and it's bickering back and forth, you know what they do? They take the kids from the both of y'all.
They put them in foster care.
Exactly. Yep. So if that's what you really want, and I'm not trying to deter this woman from doing anything that she needs to do, but all I'm saying is don't go into that court unprepared and always go into there with all your ducks in a row. So if you don't have any proof, because the court system ain't got nothing to do with this hearsay shit. If you can't go in there with solid proof, they ain't trying to hear none of that. The court has made a whole bunch of bad decisions.
But will it be hearsay if the kids are speaking?
Even if first of all, the girl's 11?
12.
I don't even know if she can even get on the stand. But the 16-year-old probably
she can get on the stand.
She
can.
How you
12
know?
years old, she can get on the stand. Come on,
how you know?
She can get on the stand.
Look it up.
I ain't gotta look it up. I know when I got on the stand. I got on the stand when I was little.
You like looking up everything else?
Yeah, but I'm not looking up that because I've been on the stand when I was 9. I was in a car accident and I had to get on the stand.
Bro, we talking about.
Don't matter, man. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
It doesn't matter.
All right. You're right.
Hey, you don't.
You're right. It don't matter in the custody.
It doesn't matter, especially if it's affecting the person.
All right, let's get back to some of these comments. Stevenson says, I have 2 beautiful daughters, 24 years old and a 9-year-old. I never touched neither of my girls because I never want neither one to think that it's okay to get beat by a man. All I have to do is look at my girls and they get the message of what I mean. And I hate to see my girls cry.
Hold on. Your boy Stevenson is jumping way out of pocket here. I mean, he's jumping way out of pocket here. Pull his damn comment up, because I really don't want to get at him, but I think I might.
Yeah, bro.
He says,
which one? The one I just read?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, not that one. Go all the way down to the end. His last comment.
Oh, okay. Oh, Vic, the one at you, Victor?
He says, I usually agreed with you. See it?
Okay. Yeah, it's at the bottom. It's near the bottom.
Very bottom, Ron.
Right before Shiley.
Right before Sherry.
Yeah.
He said, Victor, I usually agree with you, but tonight, no, brother, because once the word abusive occurred, the mother get full custody. That's a lie. And we are not saying the court is all gravy, but laws are laws. Brother, in South Carolina, I know that for sure as the president of the NAACP.
He's right.
You can get the hell on.
Yo, Stevenson is right in line with me. I keep saying that. I don't know where you from, Victor, but if there's reports of
what you're not gonna do is laugh at my friend.
No, we're not. If Stevenson, I'm standing with you on this, because at the end of the day, if protective services is called in and abuse is documented, they gotta document that. And if they don't monitor this, those folks can be brought up on charges if they don't document this and follow up and do these things right. You got to protect kids. You can't. That's why I brought up R. Kelly. You can't keep saying you abuse these kids. You know, I saw Marvin Toney say, "Oh yeah, mine made me go outside and get a switch." Yeah, that's that old Southern Belle crap. That, yeah, my mother tried that when she was down south with me. I'm a New Yorker. When my mother told me to go get a switch, I went to my cousin's house. I wasn't bringing no switch. I'm not stupid. My mother whipped my butt with stitching cords. She put whips on me. But you think I'm going outside to get a switch to whip my ass? That's crazy. But that's what we were brought up on. I understand that. But what we were brought up on don't mean it was right. And again, a lot of people say that maybe we need to get back to that. No, abuse is abuse, man. And you got to protect kids, or they grow up and they do other things. And then you forget about the things that happened to them as kids. That's why I keep singing R. Kelly, because he was abused. He was molested by a woman and a man. And people can't sit there and say that may have caused him to go off the hinge when he became an adult. So you gotta protect kids at the end of the day. If you're gonna leave kids in an abusive relationship, then somebody got to be held accountable for that.
That definitely played a factor in R. Kelly's life.
That's it.
Definitely.
All right, but in R. Kelly's life, did they have proof?
I don't even know if anybody ever even took that to court. What happened to him when he was younger?
No, I'm talking about with now. I mean, y'all, we're talking about court. We're not talking about the court of public opinion. We're talking about a court of law. If you don't have proof, they're not going to do anything. And I really think that, you know what? You're right.
No, Victor, the question to you, and I put it out there plain and simple. That's why I don't see why we're debating, because I can understand if you said there's no proof. I came to you strictly and said, if abuse is proven in the relationship, he would not get joint custody. I've made it plain and simple. I didn't say if it's not a proven. I said, if it is proven that he has been abusive to these children, he will not get joint custody. That's all I said.
All right. So with you saying that, my girl Jackie, back again, she giving you proof. You see it? The last comment, Veronica. I'm telling you, she says, me and my children had an order of protection against my ex-husband. An order of protection. A year later, he got joint custody. My children had to attend therapy through DSS, and yet he got joint custody. Maybe it's just my county. Jackie is not, but South Carolina is messed up. I'm telling you, bro, it happens.
It does happen. It does happen. There's a lot of things do sneak through the cracks. It does.
It's not sneaking through the cracks. I can only speak about what I know. Right. I'm not gonna sit here and speak about what I think. I've been through the court system. I've seen court cases. I read court cases. I do that shit versus watching TV. And you will be surprised about, you will have all the records of abuse there. And then somebody will sit here and somebody sent me a message. I'm sorry. Somebody will sit here and I got sidetracked, bro.
Yeah, see, that's what you get.
Yeah, I mean, I did, even when you sidetracked it, Victor, one of the things I would say, and even though I'm thinking about, you know, coming to South Carolina, I think it's still a backwards ass state. I think it's a racist state. And I think that a lot of time black folks, some black folks, not all black folks, don't need the folks to jump on me, because I remember I was down south and I was with my cousin, and I was like, some of these black folks move like they have a place that they have to operate in around white folks. I'm not like that. I just don't come from that. I remember the brother from the NAACP in Myrtle Beach, how they treat the white bikers and the black bikers. When I got down there, man, I raised living hell, and I don't live in South Carolina. How they treat black folks down there. So South Carolina, Vic, I got to give it to you. I don't live there. And I think it's a backwards racist ass state. Sorry, but that's how I feel.
Well,
listen, first of all, I apologize for stopping mid-thought. I really apologize.
Somebody sent you a good message or picture or something? You got one of them videos in the car again?
No, man. I that was completely unprofessional. I apologize. But it was something that anyway. So, I mean, I'll just say, man, I get it. I get it.
So Marvin says, what's the difference in being abusive and just discipline your child?
I think it's, see, and that's the thing, where one parent might think it's discipline, another might think it's abuse. That's a fine line. I don't know, because I don't spank, but I talk harsh. So some people may say, well, Vic, you verbally abusing this child. And I might say, well, at least I ain't touching him. You know what I'm saying?
I think abusive is definitely when you're leaving marks on the body. Discipline is more talking and like tapping, not like going in and, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of these kids these days need to be disciplined. Like, these kids are a different breed these days. Like, you can't even say anything to them. Let's go back up.
You want to answer? Let's answer this question before you go there. When the law are on the sides of the child, the definition of abuse usually involves the willful and intentional harm to the youth that could lead to physical, mental, emotional, or sexual injury. That's when it becomes abuse.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when Victor talks about I don't spank my children, I spank my children, but I totally understand him. And the way he says he talks to his children, he seems like he stays out of the lane of being abusive to his children. He just seems like he does stay out of that lane, and he disciplines them, but he disciplines them without crossing that line of abuse. And I'm not there with you, Vic, but that's how, when you talk about it.
I will say this. I talk to my son harsher than I talk to my daughters.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to get him in line to where I think he needs to be at. Some of our children can really aggravate us sometimes. And, I don't call him out his name or nothing like that. But I will tell him, I'm like, son, you just ain't thinking, whatever. But some people might say, well, you're being too rough on them. And you're not stern with these girls. Well, they are girls. I want to treat my children, my girls, like I would want a man to treat them. I don't talk to them rough. I don't, I tell them, or ask them or request them to do this, this, and this. But my son, I'm trying to get him prepared for the workforce and everything to come.
Yeah. I just want to say this real quick, Veronica, because I don't want to pick on South Carolina's where my family's at, and I like I said I'm open being honest that I'm thinking about coming there, but you know me, I'm a New Yorker, so I can be floating back and forth. But I just wanted to see some of the comments that folks are agreeing with me about South Carolina being a backward state, racist state. And I appreciate that because I don't want to seem like I'm picking on just South Carolina with a large amount of my family. My mother was born in Florence, Darlington, and that's where my roots is. My father born in Orangeburg, but I call a spade, and I watch people down there, and I just scratch my head because I can't. You ain't gonna talk to me anyway, and you ain't gonna expect me as a black man that I gotta give a white person. I gotta move out the way and hold the door for them. That ain't
Wait a
happening.
minute. Wait a minute. That ain't even what we talking about.
I'm just talking about that statement I said. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're talking now. We ain't talking nothing. We're talking about abuse that has nothing to do with race. Because
no. I was talking about South Carolina. You the one that talked about South, bro. You brought it up. You said South Carolina.
I never bring up race.
No, you didn't bring up race. I said you brought up South Carolina and how things operate back there. And then I brought up why I think South Carolina operates as a backwards racist state. That's why I brought it up.
Okay.
And I see people agreeing, and that's all I'm saying. That's it. I just don't want somebody to think Fatina's picking on South Carolina and where other people are saying agreeing. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I see a lot of people are going in. I want to go back to something that Sherry said because she was commenting on what Victor said. She says, I've never heard them placing kids in foster care because parents can't come to an agreement.
When you come up, all right, so when you come up to when you make serious allegations like that, and I can only speak from the 2 instances of the thousands of instances that they see. But I know 2 instances that the father was accused. One was abuse, and the other one was sexual abuse. Now, the sexual abuse came, that was very serious, and they took the child away from both of them and placed the children over here until they sorted everything out. And yes, the father was sexually abusing those kids. That's fucking sad. But over here that I know, when they had another abuse problem where the mother was actually abusing the kids, they took the kids away from both parents, set them over here, and it was deemed that the mother wasn't doing that. That's what the court came up with.
Mm.
But that's just 2 instances. I mean, there's probably 15 instances where I'd be wrong. So, that's just the 2 that I know. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like what Sherry was talking about. I get it. I don't claim to know everything, but I'm just speaking from what I've known, or the evidence that I have.
So Mr. Sammy says the thing that happened to R. Kelly is different from discipline your kids.
Correct. Well, I was just talking about with the whole proof thing. That was my whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Jackie says, Tasha, yes. I guess she's commenting on something Tasha says, which I can't see. Yes, and abusing me in front of them. I guess she's saying that the husband was abusing her in front of them when he was not medicated. He turned into a monster, and we also had this therapy info proving his issues and failure to take his meds. And they still allow him to have custody? Jackie, is that what you're saying? Because, like I said, I can't see the conversation that you all been having. But you're saying this man was on medication. The kids watched him abuse you. And they still allow him custody? All right, so let me see.
She does come back later, and she does make another comment.
Okay, you can read it, Fatima.
It's been almost 8 years later, and thankfully things are better. I was never told his terms and the plan he was put on. I still don't allow him in my space, but better now, especially since the boys are older now, 20 and 13. So time has been a blessing. So it looks like they might have been apart or whatever, and and time has made things better. At the end of the day, she don't know what they put, what the plan was put on, but it seems like there was this plan put in place and things somewhat got better because they went to therapy, or he went to therapy, and they put him on a plan, and they might have separated them from him, because at the end of the day, you got to protect the children. You have to. That's all to it.
Brian says there's still cotton fields down there. Talking about South Carolina. Is also Brian is from New York. I guess that's what he's saying. Coming from New York City, South Carolina is a different world. Yep. Stevenson says, Veronica, just remember the laws changed since me and you, my sister, and that's pretty much, they are different from us. That's pretty much, they are different from us. We're used to discipline. They don't get it like we did. We all know why, because of the so-called government system.
He's hitting a lot of points tonight. He is, because things have changed. Things have changed at the end of the day. And, and even up here in New York, I've even had to say, they say kids can call 911. And I said, my kid called 911 on me, and that's the whole thing. You want to be a parent and you don't want to be abusive. And some children, as they get older, they realize they have power. And when you have power, you can back up, or you can alleviate or stop something that you feel is being wrong to you, even though it's not abuse, it's discipline. And that's where these laws come in. But Stephen is right. Things that was done before, things are different now. Laws are different now. So I just get back to the letter. The woman.
I can't hear you, Victor.
You can't hear you, Vic. Can't hear you. And you don't look muted.
Right, and you're not muted. Patine, can I hear you?
You can hear me because I can hear you. You can hear me, right? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, y'all just look a little off tonight. It's like your mouth is not with the is not with the system.
Got it.
All right, Mr. Bringle.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, somebody was anyway. So what would you do if your child was to call the police on you after you spanked them?
Good question, Vic. Veronica, you go.
Wait, repeat. What did you say? What
would you do if your child called the cops on you after you spanked them?
Oh, wait for the cops to get there and tell them why I spanked them, I guess. What?
I mean, so what do you do after the fact? Let's say that they, took
the cops
police report.
Yeah, and they already left.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be mad as HELL.
Now, see, Cheryl says she's gonna pack the bags. That's abuse. Why would you do that?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do.
Beat him in front of the police. That's abuse.
Yeah. So
I mean,
you definitely
see now you're spanking out. Now you're acting out of anger. So, and that's what I'm getting at. That's one reason why I don't spank my children. Because when we start talking about abuse, Cheryl wants to pack the bags. That's mental abuse. Brian wants to beat him in front of the cops. You're going to jail. So, I mean, everybody wants to sit here and say, well, you should spank your kids. You should do this. You should do that. This is abuse. But as soon as your child calls the cops on you, then all of a sudden now you take that shit personal.
Why wouldn't I take it personal? Yeah, I'm the parent. I'm the mother. First of all, why are you calling the cops on your mother?
Because he feels like you abused him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But if you put your hands on me, that's abuse.
Yeah. So you asked that question, Victor. So my response would be neither one of what. I would be upset as Veronica. I would not do what they said, pack the bags. I would not beat them in front of the cops. I would tell the cops what I did, why I did it, and I did this out of love, but it is what it is. What my response would going forward now, there's going to be there's going to be some different changes now, Vic, because now the things that I provide for you, now I'm going to provide your necessities, but not always your wants now, because now the love that I show you in the sense of love when I'm rewarding you, and also the love when I'm disciplining you, now I'm going to pull back on some of those things, because now you got me pulling back on the discipline part. I'm also going to pull back on some of the wants. I'm going to give you the necessary. No, it's not. I said if I'm pulling back on, I'm not pulling back on necessities, food, shelter, this, that, and other. But when you want to go to that ball game and I gave you your allowance and your allowance is gone, Daddy, I need $5. You remember you called the cops on me? If you didn't save your allowance, sorry. So now I got to play the mind game so that you start to understand what you did and understand what. No, it's not abuse if you're providing necessities. You can't provide a want and a necessity is two different things.
So you mean to tell me that you have done all this stuff over here? You used to do all this. You bought shoes, all this shit. And the minute you put your hands on me, I felt like you went too far. Mm-hmm. I called the governing agency to say you put your hands on me too far, and they say, well, you know, whatever. I go back into the home, and now you just giving me cereal. You feeding me 3 square meals, but you're not doing none of this shit no more. I'm going to resist.
I'm not giving you the extra stuff. I said the extra stuff.
The extra stuff, like taking you to the mall,
because
you gotta teach what love is. You gotta teach that what you just did. Again,
what you
Victor,
just showed me is that you shouldn't snitch. If somebody hitting me, I shouldn't say nothing to nobody because my parents just switched up on me. That's exactly what y'all saying.
No, I'm not saying that. If it's not abuse,
so why switch up?
Because you're flipping, you're playing with the thin line of abuse and discipline. You're saying that the child made a call, but if it's not abuse, it's the child call because you spanked them, but it's not abuse, Victor. Let's deal with that. It's not abuse. The child just felt that the child got mad and made a call to the authorities. But you spanked them, hit the child 3 times. On the butt 3 times. That's not abuse, right?
You didn't hit him that hard. That's not. What if you hit him with a switch?
What, Victor? You can't keep changing this. Is it abuse or discipline, man? Which one is it?
It's all in the eyes of the person that's receiving it. You're going to sit here and say that you're not abusing somebody, but the person that's receiving it, they don't have an opinion of what you're doing to them. That's crazy as shit. That's just like if I punch a woman in her face, I say, oh, girl, that's just tough love.
Victor, we're talking about our children. We're not talking about
Veronica. All I did was make a parable. That's all I did. I was not saying, I'm not throwing that in there. What I'm saying is, y'all are sitting here saying, if you spank a child, that's not abuse. But I'm sitting here saying, if that child says you are abusing them, that is abuse. That's what I'm saying. You are trying to create the rules saying that if I cut your butt and pop you on the butt 3 times,
right,
then that's not abuse. But if that child says you're abusing them, that's fucking abuse.
So how the hell did we have a conversation about disciplining a child? See, you don't believe in beating or disciplining through a spanking. You don't. So for you to say that, I got it. I understand that. But at the end of the day, a lot of us that still discipline our children, I understand what you're saying, where the line is drawn on abuse and discipline. So we're not going to agree. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this. Right. But I do understand what Victor's saying is saying through their eyes, they're looking at it as it being abuse. And we're looking at it through our eyes as it being discipline. Which is it? So that's where the laws on the books come.
Well, see,
there's no law in the book that you can't spank your child.
I never said that.
But I didn't say you did say that. I didn't say you did say that.
No. I never said that.
I know you didn't.
I said you didn't. All I'm saying is once the person receiving the spanking or punishment or whatever screams abuse, then guess what it is? It's abuse. It don't matter. You can sit here and say my child is. If your child says you abused them, guess what? That's exactly what you did.
Well, see, when we was coming up,
Oh shit. Here we go with that.
My brothers and sisters and myself. My daddy wouldn't even have given us time to even make it to the telephone to try to call the police. I mean, we knew better. But
Damn
now,
right.
with all these,
Damn right.
now with all these silly laws, that's why
so
the
now they
kids,
silly. How they
because
silly?
they are. You're going to tell me that I can't spank my child?
You can do whatever you want to. You just know that there's consequences that come with that. You can do whatever you want to. But just realize once you spank your child or you do anything to that child or you do anything to anybody else, there are going to be consequences. You can spank your child and you can do all this, and that child turn 18 and say, you know what? I ain't dealing with you no more. None of this. I hated everything about it. Don't want nothing to do with you. And I'm just saying, I hope that never happens to anybody, but that's a possibility that could happen. People respond to punishments differently.
Yeah, and that's because of how the world is turning these days. For a child to say that just because a parent is trying to discipline a child and that child is going to say, hey, I'm out of here. Okay, that's because of how things are these days. We would have never said that to our parents just because they discipline us. Yes, I have said, oh, my parents been so mean because they were so strict. I couldn't go spend the night at my friend's house. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. But now as an adult, I appreciate everything my parents did for me. I appreciate them spanking us. I appreciate us for not letting us go spend the night at friend's house. I appreciate all of that. And I believe once a child get older, that's like my son. I just had a conversation with him just yesterday about his attitude. And I was telling him, you know, I'm getting ready to be tough with you because I've been, you know, that nice mom. Yes, I'll use that tone. I'll get mad. I'll yell at him and all of that stuff, but still gave him, you know, freedom, as you call it. But that's just like Sherry said, it's not, it's called parenting. Sometimes tough love is a must. And that's what I'm getting ready to change. Like, I'm not saying that, no, like when it comes to far, we know we got to feed the kids. We know they have to have a roof over their head. We know we have to, you know, they have to have clothes on their back. But we do have to show them that tough love at times. And it's about parenting.
You know what? You remember back in the day?
Run over your ass.
You know what? Since you want to talk about back in the day, you ever heard of the rule of thumb? You know that still exists, right?
Break that down. I did hear it.
Well, man can take his wife on the courthouse steps at 12 o'clock and beat her with a stick no wider than his thumb. So let's go back to that. That's back in the day. Back in the day, Veronica, y'all couldn't talk. Y'all couldn't vote. There was a bunch of shit y'all couldn't do back in the day. But that don't necessarily mean it was right. And that don't necessarily mean it was wrong. But if you want to go back to that old mentality, times has changed. All I'm saying is you don't hit shit you love. If I love you, I'm not going to put my hands on you.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
I mean, and that's and you know what? That is perfect. And that's the world we live in where we can disagree with each other and we can still, you know, come back the next week and have a civilized conversation. Yep. But what I'm saying is you do not hit anything that you love. That's what if I'm with a woman and she step out of line, I guess I should just crack her across her damn head, right?
We're not talking about adults.
Wait a minute. We're talking about punishment.
We're talking about raising kids, being a parent.
I'm trying to raise a wife. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Who the hell you trying to raise a grown-up? What kind of bullshit is that? How you got me cursing now? Hell with BS. That's bull's crap. You raising a grown-up. What the hell?
Oh, Lord. Help him.
Now I tell you this, my father usually come home, and God bless his soul, both my parents have passed, but my father comes home at 6 o'clock. My father tried to tip in the house at 1 o'clock. My mother had that iron skillet and she bashed that. My father wore a patch for a week. And my father, he didn't jump at my mother because he knew he was wrong. And I hate to say it, but that's how they were then. See, things were different then. My uncle back talked his father at 21. And he knew his father knocked out a horse down south. He knocked his ass on the ground. My father had to pick his brother up. Let's go. Because you know not to mess with the father. That's how it was back then. But things are different now. But, you know, I wish my kids would hear, because I would rather put them on the mic and ask them, would they have called the cops on me because I've disciplined? Because I've never crossed a line of abuse with my children. I never crossed the line of abuse to the point that they feel that I've been abusive, to the point that they feel that they need to be out of the house.
Right. Stevenson says, please remember South Carolina is only one state that said once a child turns 17, they are qualified as an adult. So as long as they are under 17, you have to call DSS and you have to give them a good damn reason.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You do not have to give them a good reason. I can sit here and somebody can get on the phone right now and say, Vic over there abusing them kids. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to come over here and do an investigation.
Right.
You don't have to give them a good reason.
You're supposed to. You're
supposed to.
They supposed to.
But they so damn lazy now that they'll just come over here and start an investigation. I figured the answer to this podcast was at the end of this bottle, but I don't think I found it yet.
Right.
Try another bottle. Get another bottle.
Oh, Robin said, I agree with you, Veronica. I appreciate that tough love growing up.
Go sit down somewhere.
That's right, Robin. That's right.
Where my people's at?
They ain't with you.
They ain't with you tonight,
Jackie
bro.
with me. Jackie with me.
Jay says, Vic, that's why these kids soft now.
I don't know, Jay. Come on, Jay. Don't do me like
that.
No,
he's not.
Jay, don't do me like that.
Hey. Let me see. Vic,
Sherry, I know Sherry with me. Sherry better be with me.
No, Sherry's definitely not with you. She ain't been with you all night. Stevenson says, Victor, they aren't silly. Really, they are stupid laws because back then we didn't have so many youth killing and black on black crime.
What Jillian said?
Wait, I'm going down the list.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Tracy said these kids do not respect no type of authority, and that is the truth. This is to you, Vic. Sherry says that's your opinion. Parents choose to parent the way.
That ain't to me.
Yes, it is. Marvin says, my mama showed us nothing but tough love. Then I didn't understand it, but when I became an adult, might have been the greatest gift she gave me besides life. Right. Because I used to say it all the time. I used to say it all the time.
Work out, brother.
Are so mean, but then you appreciate it once you get older.
Yeah, you appreciate it. I'm gonna tell you what I don't appreciate. I appreciate my mom's whipping my butt, but I don't appreciate her putting whips on me. My mother beat me with a extension cord and put whips on me. I ran in the hallway like I thought I saw water, and she used to joke about that. But as an adult, I told my moms, I said, you was wrong for that, and I told her that to her face. And she came back and said, I was wrong for that at that time. But she says there's that give and take. We learn. And I understood. So I wasn't mad at her, but I'm an adult now. And I'm not the kind of adult that's going to say, oh, Ma, I know it was tough love. No, you put whips on me, Ma. And I had to wear them whips. That was wrong. And that was like slave master beating a slave. And when I put it to her, that turned my mom, shut it down. And she said, I agree with you. I was wrong on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that we never experienced. It was always that black belt. Daddy used to always make us go get the belt. I'm like, oh gosh. And
before you go any further, put that last comment on here because your boy really trying me tonight, and I'm trying to be good.
What do you say now?
You gotta be nice to my friend.
No. Your boy trying me. So he says, Victor, please stop the damn bullshit with that law, okay? I tell you what, Victor, try that damn law and see where your black self be at. Please hit a woman upside their heads and see what happens to your black self. I will bring you some Newports. Now, see, that's where I'm about to step out of the character I have on the show and step into my normal self. So let me go ahead and address this nigga right now.
Right? Wow.
Wait.
I
need music?
I was making I was using that as a metaphor. I would never put my hands on a woman because I don't even put my hands on my children. All I said was there was a law that said that you could use a stick no wider than your thumb at 12 o'clock noon on a Sunday and beat your wife. I was just saying that going back to the old days, there was nothing in the old days. All I'm saying is stuff that they did in the old days should not be brung up here. So all that corporal punishment and all that shit, I don't agree with. That's the point that I was trying to make. So I don't know what he's talking about. So yeah, I didn't condone hitting no woman. So y'all can carry. I'm gonna step back into.
Yeah, but don't compare.
Go back to Clark Kent.
That wasn't a good comparison though, because we're talking about raising kids, not beating women. I mean, that,
what y'all said. But what I was saying was, when it comes to abuse, it all is in the eyes of the beholder. That's the point that I was trying to make. I just took it that far. I never said that I would do no shit like that. But I was just making a point. But all y'all see, and that's one thing I noticed. Y'all have the blinders on. When somebody tries to step outside the box, y'all don't look this way or look this way. Y'all just look straight ahead. And I'm gonna need for y'all to stop doing that.
That's a lie, because I'm looking all around.
Anyway, so I wanted you to put up somebody's comment, but I can't remember what it's been.
Could I read Cheryl's, because you haven't picked a comment by Cheryl tonight? And Cheryl's one of our loyal viewers. She wrote, well, I have gotten beatings as a child, and I may have been mad at my father, but I never even thought of calling the police on him.
Now remember, some of these comments I can't see now. So if y'all see them, y'all got the.
Oh, okay, cool. So
what did Cheryl say?
Again, I'll repeat. She said, well, I have gotten beatings as a child, and I may have been mad at my father, but I never even thought of calling the police on him.
I see it. It's kind of farther up on my end.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I have gotten beatings as a child, and I may have been mad at my father, but I never even thought. That's what I'm saying. Us coming up, our generation, we never thought about calling the cops on our parents. And Vic, you said But did you?
Well, here's a comment. Well, here's a comment by Jillian Elaine. One of our friends' daughters told her mom as a teen she would call the cops on her. My mom told me if I would do that, I better hope cops keep her locked up, because she would beat the sugar honey iced tea out of me when she was let out. And most parents would do that. They would come home and whip your ass.
And that's abuse.
To jail.
Well,
that's right. But once you call the cops, you've been abusive or not say abusive. You've been disrespectful to your parent, even though I hear what
how's that disrespectful? You hit me.
Like I said, Victor, you call the cops. Victor, you'd have been my child. You call the cops on me, man, I'd have whipped your ass, and I'm going back to jail. I'm sorry.
Well, some
things is crossed the line. So what?
We gonna see.
Got it. But I may be wrong. You call the cops on me, you're getting your ass cut when I get home.
So who you saying you will be fighting, Victor? Your parent?
Yeah.
If you're gonna get your ass killed, then you're gonna get killed. You let a kid put their hand on me.
But you just got finished beating them.
You want to see abuse? You let a kid get in my face. That's crazy. So you just
gonna break one of the 10 commandments just right there, huh?
I'm not gonna kill my kid, but I put it like this: the ass whipping they would get, they would never ever put their hand on me again. Because I would never, even as an adult, I never even thought about touching my parents. That's crazy. Oh, come on, man. I don't even think we should even go down that road, because that's crazy. You crossing the line, and when a kid put their hand on you, man, that's crazy. I mean, some kids, I grew up in a neighborhood with a mixed neighborhood, and some of the white kids, they could curse when they were younger. And I told my parents, oh, John could curse in front of their parents. My father said, go ahead and try it. He had to say that twice to me. Now, I might have cursed outside as a kid, but I knew not to slip up in my house, because I'm gonna get my ass whipped. And I knew that. And that's what kept me in line, and that's what saved my life from the streets.
Right. So the viewers want to know, and you did answer this question at the beginning, did Victor get beatings?
Victor got a lot of beatings.
Yeah, he said he got more beatings. He got enough beatings for us.
No, but Victor put a stop to all that shit too. But we'll leave it at that.
Because my next question was how, but okay.
You ain't gonna put your hands on me but so many times. That's just it. It just ain't gonna happen.
You must be turned 17.
You must have.
No, I wasn't 17, but you ain't gonna just put your hands on me so many times. That's about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, Mr. Bring your wallet with you.
Yeah, Victor bring an ass whooping with him too. But we'll turn it out. We'll turn it out. I don't play that shit. Keep your hands to yourself. That's my whole thing. Like, I understand even in relationships, I get it. You know, women get mad and they do this, but like I tell every woman, keep your damn hands to yourself. Don't hit me. So
you'll get mad if a woman smush you in your
You can only get away with that maybe 1 or 2 times, and I'm gonna put your ass through a damn window. Don't put your hands on me.
Victor,
I'm not listening. Let me tell you
that's
something.
Abuse.
So getting smushed in the face is not.
That's just a little,
I don't care.
Get it tight.
Keep your hands to yourself. I'm telling you, like.
But you're gonna push me through a window?
Listen to what I'm telling you, Veronica. You don't. If you love something, you don't hit it. You don't touch it. You don't do none of that shit. So if you do something to somebody and they go that far with it, if you would have kept your hands to yourself to start with, guess what? None of this would have ever happened. All I'm saying is just keep your hands to yourself. You can get your point across. If you can't talk to somebody and communicate with somebody to get your point across, if you have to go any further than that, then you shouldn't be with that person.
Victor, I'm with Victor on that. You keep your hands to yourself, because I'm with Victor, and I can't, I hate to say this, and no matter how mad I get, I'm not going to strike no one, but I don't care if it's a man or a woman. You get in my face and you put your hand on me, there's going to be a response.
Exactly.
You're not going to put your hand on me and think that you can put your hand on me. No.
No, would you would hit a woman back though?
Yeah, damn right. Damn right.
See,
you better not hit me.
Hit me for what? And that's the thing. See, I'll cut that shit short. Listen,
you need to walk away.
No.
The thing is you need to keep your hands to yourself.
Don't put your hands.
I'm with y'all on that. Keep your hands to yourself. I totally agree.
I mean, I play a lot, but that's one thing I do not play with. I mean, I know I said last Tuesday, she can cut me and all this. Yeah, I was playing, but I'm gonna tell you real talk. And anybody who I've ever been with, I will tell them, don't play with me like that.
Yeah, I'm with
because
Victor
I
on that.
don't play like that.
I don't. And I hear what Victor's saying. And as another man, I would never walk up to Victor and say, "Boom, boom, boom. I'm just playing." I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't disrespect him like that. And I don't care. Don't put your hand on me. Don't put your hand on me. In a discussion, this is a nowhere. This is a one-way street. You put your hand on me, I'm not walking away.
So what if she spit on you?
Oh, that's worse. That's worse. That's worse. You'll get kicked in your ass.
Oh, I gotta take my damn shirt off. You got me so hot now.
I think we better go another way. You can't do that, man.
There's 2 things a woman can do to me that will send me over the edge. If you spit on me, I'm gonna fight your ass. If you put your foot on me,
you're gonna fight. Yeah, we talked.
I'm gonna fight your ass.
Yeah, you don't like feet anyway.
No, it's not really that. I'm talking about if you I ain't
try to
kick you kick me. Come on, man.
Yeah,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I think we ain't gotta keep saying it because me and Victor on the same page.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's all about respect. If you respect me, you ain't gonna hit me. I mean, play fighting is one thing, and then even with the play fight, we can only do that for so much. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't with all that, man. It don't take all that.
So even if you was in the wrong, say you came home at 3 o'clock in the morning smelling like perfume,
then leave. Or tell me don't get in the bed, but you ain't got to hit. What?
You get out.
But nothing justifies you putting your hands on me. Nothing.
Okay, so Veronica, you all right. So there's a small line. There's a small line, Veronica, that if I did something wrong, if I'm in the wrong and somebody's with me, a female, and they're trying to get my attention and they gotta push me or do whatever, then I understand that. but there's a small line. I see what you're saying. If you totally wrong, and I got that. But overall, that 90 so percent, don't think that you're going to get in an argument with me and think that you can put your hand on me.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that. I know, I'm not going to say who, but there's a man that I know, and I respect this man. You can't put your finger in his face.
No.
He will smack your finger out of his face. He will warn you one time. Get your so-and-so finger out of my face, and then he will hit your hand so hard that he may break your finger. So that's what I'm saying at the end of the day. Don't play with people. And when people start playing with or think they can disrespect you, the repercussions of that is deadly. It can be deadly. And you in states that you got stand your ground, people can shoot you for that now. Stand your ground, they can pop your ass for that. So be careful with what you do and how you deal with people.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Robin says, keep her lifted. Keep her lifted in prayer. She said, I agree with everyone should keep their hands to themselves. However, God has not brought me that far yet. Keep me lifted. He's still working on me.
Well, Robin, I'm going to tell you right now, you better start working on it now, because you're going to meet the right man one day, and he ain't going to play with you.
He ain't going to play with you. He's going to knock you on your ass.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm with Jill. Don't get in people's personal space.
That's it. That's all.
I mean, my thing is, if I get upset and we arguing, I keep a distance between us so that you can't close that distance and I can't close that distance. But we can keep it. We're going to keep it kind of, we can raise our voices. We can do whatever. But, nah, we ain't doing none of that.
Let's see what Jackie's saying. So to take things a step further, these children who are getting abused, then they become abusers later to their children or spouse. Yep. My mama gave me true beatings, and that's why I chose not to spank. My youngest has the same anger issues as his father, and it scares me to his future. He is in therapy, so I pray he doesn't go down the same path. Yes. And we have to
excellent point.
And I hate to get biblical, but we do have to pray for our kids. Like, what you call it, generation curses?
Oh, that's a good point.
Generational curse.
I call it karma. It's called karma.
It's for real. Like,
karma.
See what Marvin said?
What he said?
The last comment Marvin said.
My son and mama used to beat me and him. You stupid, Marvin.
You know what?
Marvin, not Mr. Weightlifter. No.
Yeah, that's why he working. Cheryl said that's why he working now. To get his strip up. He want his round back. Marvin, you going to get your lick back?
He better not. So Jay says, but I think
he said tell the whole story. I'm sorry.
Jay says, what I think discipline is need to keep us out of trouble in some cases. Talking does not work all the time. That is true.
That's true.
Yep.
Unless you got some children grow up and the teenagers and the teenagers before me in my neighborhood, these guys had full beards at 15 and 16, and they moved like they were 18 and 19. So their parents, they didn't have the curfews that I may have had, or the kids they didn't have those kind of curfews because they moved like young adults. We saw them get disciplined, but the discipline that we saw, it was different because they moved like young adults. And I don't know how they was brought up, but they moved like young adults. And they looked out for us at the end of the day to make sure that we didn't make wrong steps. See, that's what I'm talking about. It takes a village to raise a child. My parents did their job, but my community also helped raise us. Other parents, the older folks in our community looked over and looked out for us at the end of the day. So we had that tough love, but not abusive love.
Right.
Again, my mother whipped me to the point I had webs on me. That was abuse. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I understand where she was coming from. She just took it too far that day. But I was a badass, and I hit all the belts, so she got what she could get her hand on. So that's what happened. So I probably brought that crap on myself anyway.
Yeah. Well, the communities aren't the same like it used to be either. Like neighbors don't talk like they used to. Like when we was growing up, everybody know each other in the neighborhood. All the kids can get together and play basketball at someone's house, things like that. But it's so different these
You know
days.
why? Because everybody doesn't have your best interests at heart. You got neighbors that lie on you, that'll sit here and tell your parent, I saw your son doing this, and your son was over here cussing and doing all this, but they ain't gonna tell that their child was standing right there too, cussing just as much as you was.
Yeah.
So I mean, I believe my child. When it comes down to, you got to know your kids. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know your children, then that's half the battle right there.
Victor got a compliment tonight. You got a compliment, bro.
Who said that? Wait.
O'Neal Anderson.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it, O'Neal.
Oh, exactly. That's Vic cousin.
That's my we might be related. All of us related. I mean, on down the line.
Well.
Oh, and Sherry said, you being red didn't help for T.
Say that again.
Sherry said you being red didn't help. He said your mama put them whelps on you.
Yeah, man. I hear you. It straightened me out. I became a straight A. My mother had to come up to school in the 9th grade because I got 55s. I was acting up in class, and I didn't like the teacher. I didn't care for him, and he was a SOB. He was a black man too. And when my mother was taking me home, she had to talk with me, and we would get on the bus. And my mother didn't have to cut me at home, and my father didn't have to beat me or have a talk with me. Something hit me and said, you know what? You got to get your act together and do what you got to do. And that's because they gave me that foundation when I was younger. So as I was getting older, I fell back in place. And my parents really didn't have too much problems for me. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. I you know what I'm saying? So I understood what they were doing when I was younger, and I understand that I brought on some of that myself. But as I was getting older, my father was talking more. Look, you're older now. We don't need to be putting our hands on you, but you need to be more responsible. And that stuck in my head. And that, because of the foundation, that's why I was able to move. I'm not perfect, but at the end of the day, I didn't really get in a lot of trouble. I just didn't get in a lot of trouble. I knew right from wrong.
Yeah, this generation is just living in a sad world. Like they get caught up doing what their friends are doing, and it's just this world is a mess when it comes to raising kids.
Wait a minute! Don't say they're doing what their friends doing. They are.
You know what I mean? A lot of kids are following up each other. They're not using their own. They're not thinking with their own mind. Just because Jill is over here doing it, I'm going to do it too because it looks fun. Jill introduced me to it, or I introduced it to Jill, and we just go from there. You know what I'm saying? These kids is like, some of them don't have a mind on their own. They just want to do the cool things that the other kids are doing that they think is cool. But like I said, only thing we can do is just pray for our kids. We can talk to our kids till they say like blue in the face. And, a lot of times when kids are going down the wrong path, doing the wrong things, a lot of people want to judge the parents, and they shouldn't, because some of the time, the parents are doing the right thing in raising these kids, but they are just lost out here in this big old world. Mm-hmm. Let's get final thoughts on this letter. You argue with your math teacher? Mr. Bring your wallet with you?
Jill knows that I argue with everybody. If you just saw that, you couldn't get over me. I wouldn't let you. And I stood behind every punishment that I ever received. I didn't back up. Once I took a stance, that was it. There wasn't no breaking me. I'm not going to go back on what I said. Whether I was wrong or not, I was still right. And that's how I feel, and that's how I stand today. And that's just like when it comes to my kids. If my kids tell me, Daddy, this, and this, then that's it. but I know my children.
So I'm gonna give my final thoughts. I'm gonna use.
Wait, before you do
Okay.
that, 15, before we get to final thoughts, I want to go and see, and this is another thing, like it's just too much going on out here in social media. Robin says, y'all must not have heard this new TikTok challenge these kids are doing now, going to school slapping teachers on the ass. How would you handle that situation?
Well, a teacher responded to that today. A teacher responded to a black teacher. She said to the young folks, I paraphrase. She said, we teachers come up in a different era. And she talked about listening to different artists like Lil Jon and this, that, and other. And she said, if you put your hand on me, it'll be the last time you put your hand on somebody. So if these kids think that this is something that this new challenge they're gonna do, they're gonna get their ass hurt because the teachers are younger. They're not like when I went to school, I had these old teachers look like they about to leave here in about 2 months. You got young teachers in their 20s. They'll put their foot in your backside.
Right.
And then call your mother and be ready to whip your mom's butt if she don't come up right.
Why are we giving this energy? I mean, we're acting like the majority of the kids is doing this. It might have been a few.
It doesn't matter. It's something out there. It's a challenge going on, and you know these kids, they're willing to do something for attention. So that is something to talk about. And that is so disrespectful.
I told you a teacher responded to it today. A teacher responded to that.
I haven't heard it. I can only speak for my children. I know my kids ain't gonna do no shit like that.
We know you can only speak for your kids. We got that. This is a podcast. We talk about things. Come on now.
Yeah, she put it out there. That's a legit situation. It's legit. A teacher responded to that today. That's not somebody's opinion. That's a challenge that is out there. At the end of the day, that's why I'm saying sometimes we as parents are so damn removed from what our kids are doing that we don't even think our kids may not do something, and you don't even know what your kid may do.
So if my child slapped the teacher on the ass, I mean, what is there to do?
You won't do anything?
We know what you ain't gonna do, but I know what I would.
No, what I'm saying is, we already know there's going to be some criminal charges that come about, and my child's gonna get kicked out of school. Like, what do you want me to do? I mean, that's a question. Robin, what are you going to do? I mean, sometimes we don't realize that when a child makes a decision, you know what I'm saying? I remember I got arrested when I was at school, and for some shit that was a whole big misunderstanding. But my mother told me, was like, the embarrassment of you getting locked up, getting in handcuffs and escorted outside of school in front of everybody was enough. I couldn't walk my senior year because of that shit. But it's like, it's what it is. It's something I really don't talk about much, but it happened. But that's why I take the stance on sometimes when a child makes a decision and you can compound the punishment and make it even worse. Because if you slap a teacher on the butt in front of your kid, in front of them, his friends may think that that's cool. But to everybody else and to all the females, they're like, you a disrespectful ass little boy. Like, who does something like that? And for him to come home with that stigma on him, on top of him being ridiculed in the news, he's going to make the paper. You're going to bring shame to yourself and his family, and you still want me to beat him? Come on, man. Bro, you caused all that on yourself.
No one said beat him, but at least
what you want me to do?
Talk to him and be like, man.
The talking should have happened 16, 15, 14 years before he did that dumb shit. He should already know right from wrong.
He should already know, Vic. You're right. He should.
So the minute my child was to go out there and slap a teacher on her butt, I failed as a parent. And he has failed as a damn soon-to-be taxpayer society that his ass is going to be in jail. And I can guarantee you I'm not paying his bond money.
How did you fail as a parent, though? If my child goes out there and slaps anybody on their butt without their permission, that means I did not instill values
and respect in my child.
That's a lie. Because I talk to my son about that all the time, to keep his hands to himself. Don't touch a female. None of that. But I mean,
I'm telling you about my views.
You not fail as a parent.
Yes,
Victor,
I did.
No, because
let me just say this.
I did.
Let me just say this. Victor could say he failed as a parent, and that's how he feels. Then fine. But I keep telling you, your children are not you, and we can do whatever we can do, be the holiest and raise our children. They have their own will and their own mind, and sometimes they get around their friends and they do something devious that you didn't teach them. It didn't mean that you didn't fail. You instill those things, but at the end of the day, they have their own mind. They're not attached to us. They're not when they cut their umbilical cord, they are not attached to us. You keep forgetting that our children honestly come through us. They're not really ours. They're ours because we made them, but they're their own flesh and blood with their own chromosomes, man. They have their own mind.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like I failed because my children are an extension of me. So if I don't instill the proper values in my kids, then it's what it is. I understand kids make their own decisions and they're going to make bad decisions. And I get it. But I take that weight for my children. I can't speak for what anybody else does with theirs. I'm just speaking on mine. Because if my child goes out there and makes a decision, that shit is on me.
Yeah. Victor, how old are your children?
Austin just turned 16 Monday. Kaylin turned 11 today. And Adriana's 13.
Okay, so let's take the 16 and the 11-year-old. I don't want to call them by the name because I really don't. I'm just using this as because they're your children. Fine. Okay, so your 11-year-old gets into a fight and two people jumps on your 11-year-old.
Yep.
Your 16-year-old is coming to pick up. You just hypothetical coming to pick up, and he sees this, right? He jumps in and whipped both of those people that jumped on your kid's backside. Now, you don't deal with corporal punishment, this, that, and other. Now, there was a fight going on. They jumped your child. At the end of the day, would you be mad or would you discipline your child, your 16-year-old, at the end of the, when I use the word discipline?
No, because he did exactly what I taught him to do.
To defend his brother
because if
or sister.
I pulled up, I'm jumping in the fight. I ain't gonna lie to you. You jump on my child, I'm jumping in. Y'all laughing, but I'm
no, because I'll probably do the same thing.
My child, and I'll put my baby mama on the phone. My baby was in 4K, and I went up there to go fight another 4-year-old, and I was dead. You laughing, but I'm dead serious.
And you go to jail.
You put gun in my baby, I don't give a shit. You keep your hands to yourself.
You're doing the most.
See, but the thing is, you think that I'm playing, and I'm not.
Oh, I know you're not, but you're doing the most.
He put gum in my child's hair. My child don't bother nobody.
Right.
And I wanted to beat his ass, but I couldn't get my hands on him. So I offered his daddy to step outside.
I respect that.
And that's what you should have did from the beginning.
That's logical.
I was dead serious.
Why would you go to a 4-year? Your ass would have, if you would have jumped on my 4-year-old,
your ass would
have been in jail.
Under the jail, shit. But I know what Victor's saying. And I had a little girl. I had a little girl took my younger daughter and banged her head up against the thing. Yeah, no. But see what Victor that's why I say I hate to say this, and see the truth comes out. I had a young child bang my young daughter head against the wall in after school. You know what I did. You know what her big sister did. My
you going to get her?
She handled that. She handled that. I couldn't handle it because you know why? Because when I brought it to the mother got sassy with me. So the mother got sassy with me. I said, okay, we'll handle this. Let my daughter handle it. So my daughter handled it.
Okay, that's the difference between you handle it and your daughter.
All right, if my child would have lost, then you keep going up in rank till we get it. You laugh. I'm telling you, I told my kids if one fight, you're all better. Everybody better toe the ass whooping. Everybody. We ain't playing that shit, man. We ain't taking no losses in this house. No. We ain't doing that.
And you know what? Listen to this. It sounds crazy. It sounds, and when I use, and I'm not shaking my head at Victor on this one, because I know Victor's.
I'm shaking my damn head.
Wait, let me just say,
You
Let me just say this.
A 4-year-old.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about that. But what Victor's saying, as I'm looking at it, I'm not taking it to the extreme of everything Victor's saying. But what I am taking it to, and I go to the television show Good Times. When James came in that house, he protected that house. If it was a young kid, remember that young kid came in there and James had to take him in the back room. If you saw Good Times, and he had to spank that kid's backside.
Was taking the lunch money, yeah.
Yeah, it had the tanks. So at the end of the day, what Victor is saying, I'm going to protect mine. And in James Evans' house, he protected his. I'm not saying fight. I'm not comparing apples and oranges. I'm just saying what Victor's saying without the extremism is that he's protecting his household. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't need to get into the extreme about him fighting a 4-year-old. I'm not going to condone that. But what I am saying is that I do understand what he's saying, that he's going to protect his.
I mean, every parent, I will hope, feel like they're going to protect their house, going to protect their children.
Some don't.
But I'm not getting ready to go to school and talking about fighting no 4-year-old.
But the thing about it is I don't even let, I ain't gonna say let, I don't even like a whole bunch of, my kids playing with a whole bunch of kids, because I'm looking at your child like, do your child know how to play? Because I'm sitting here watching, like, if your child playing a little too rough, I'm like, hey, y'all chill. And that's about all you gonna get. Next thing you know, I'm throwing a tennis ball in between the two of y'all.
But what if the shoe's on the other foot, Victor?
But and your children, that's just it. My kids don't do that.
But you, okay,
if you ever, but see, that's the thing, y'all. If you've ever been around my kids, they are 180 degrees from who I am. You probably won't even know they're there. Anybody's ever been in my house, my kids has probably been here and they just didn't know it. They're so docile that you wouldn't even think they were mine.
But if your kid made a mistake and put gum in another kid's hair,
I'd have to deal with it.
No. Wait. Let me finish the question. Put the gum in another kid's hair, and the other parent took your approach and wanted to deal with it like you wanted to deal with it. Yeah. How would you feel?
I still have to protect my child, whether they're right or wrong. I got to. But I would try to make it right. I would try to. But understand that I know put my hands on a 4-year-old is wrong, and I would have to deal with the consequences. But to prove to my daughter that I got your back, whether you right, wrong, or maybe, I'm willing to do that. But if
they're wrong, you're gonna.
If they're wrong, I'm still gonna back my child up.
But how far are you gonna go?
As far as I need to go.
Then you're wrong. I have to call you out. Yes, you are.
Well, I mean, however you.
I know. Yeah, but I know what you're gonna do. I hear you as a man, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and I understand that. So, Veronica, what I'm saying is, I'll say one time or twice, Victor's wrong, but I know where he comes from. I ain't gonna change him, and at the end of the day, he has to look himself in the mirror after that, because he's gonna have to deal with the consequences, and he knows that. That's it. I got you.
So, I can give you a instance, but I don't want to tell no long ass story. But there was an instance that happened with my baby mama's oldest son, where he recorded a fight at Wilson and put it on YouTube. So you're not even supposed to have phones at school. You know what I'm saying? So he called me up to the office. He called me from the payphone and told me they was trying to suspend him. Right? No, he called me from his cell phone and told me they was gonna suspend him. So I come flying up to the school and I'm shitting. So when he meets me out there in the office, I told him, what do they know? He was like, they don't know nothing. I said, did you tell him anything? He said, no, I ain't tell him nothing. I say, no matter what I say in this damn office, you disagree with me, you keep to your story no matter what the fuck I say. He said, all right, cool. And I'm looking in his eyes. I said, Dominique, I'm telling you how to play this. We go up in this office. They got the sheriff's deputy in there. They got all this stuff in there. And I think his name was Mr. McBride. And we sitting in this, Mr. Shaw. And we sitting in there and they telling me, oh, your son recorded this. I said, well, they put it on YouTube. I said, well, show me the YouTube page. And it was Major Waffle or something like that. I said, that's not his name. Well, it's got his picture on there. I said, I could put your picture on the Facebook page, but that ain't him. He said he didn't do it. So we went through this whole roundabout. They want him to take it down. So where they got him at was right before we walk out. He said, well, Mr. White, we wanted to have a conference with your son, but you came up here. He said, well, how did we know? How did you know that we was about to talk to him? And I said, he called me. He said, Dominique, how did you call? He said, I called him on my cell phone. They gave him 3 days, just that fast. And I said, y'all ain't shit. My child was about to get suspended, and rather y'all gonna jam him up in the room by himself. So you couldn't get him on that, but you get him for having a cell phone at school, and gave him 3 days. And I let everybody know in that school, ain't none of them in that administrative office was worth a fuck. But that's how I felt.
And it's Victor. And I just want to say this, and I hear that, and I just want to say this, Veronica. My kids was not supposed to have a cell phone in school.
I don't know what that came about.
Well, they said it
That's a
wasn't,
rule.
but I told the principal straight up, deal with me. I said their mother has sickle cell, and she can go into a crisis. And if my daughter needs to get home, she ain't got time to call the switchboard, and you got to go to the class. She calls on her cell phone. My daughter is not to tab that cell phone out. It's in her bag, this, that, and the other. And I wrote a note, and I dealt with the principal, and the principal allowed it. And that's how we dealt with it. Because I told her, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. My child's going to have a cell phone. Only because of emergency purposes only.
All right, so the cell phone ban, everybody who graduated from 99 on back up can remember that if you had a cell phone or a pager, that was an automatic expulsion because they swore up and down you were selling drugs. But what changed the rules was Columbine. You remember what happened in Columbine in Colorado? That changed the cell phone policy for every school district across America. Because if it wasn't for the cell phones, a lot more kids would have died. So they relaxed the cell phone policy, but it's still frowned upon for a child to have a cell phone at school using it in class.
I was going to say, because mostly all the kids have cell phones at school.
Yes,
they
do, but they're not supposed to use it in class. And the teacher can take the cell phone if the child is using it during class.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I shouldn't say during class, unauthorized usage, because she may give them cell phone time. But Columbine changed all of that.
Victor's 200% right. And Victor, that was a great point because it did. Because now they have shootings and whatever, and they got to communicate, So great point. I don't even have anything to add to that. That's an excellent point. Yep. That's what I'm saying. The world is changing. Things have changed in the world, and some of the things that we did. That's why Victor said some of the things that we mentioned that was done in the past. It's not relevant today because things are just done differently. You may agree or disagree how things are being done, but things are done. Social media, we can agree or disagree, but social media is here. So we got to adapt and deal with it. And how do we deal with it and move forward?
I want to go to two things, and then we're going to wrap it up. Vic gonna wrap it up, but
there you go.
Two of these comments, and then we're going to do the final thoughts. Cheryl says, sometimes kids will fool you. They act different when you are not around. That's and Robin says, never say what your child won't do. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree with that.
And those are facts.
I do agree with that.
All right, guys.
I did some devilish crap that, I got busted on one, and the dean called home. And when I got home, my mother didn't whip my backside because she was going to give it to my father. But my father, he just never dealt with it. The problem that they didn't know is that a gang member met me after school. And if it was another friend of mine that talked that gang member from stopping from kicking my backside, because what I did was wrong. I'm not going to say what I did, but what I did was wrong. And it got back to a gang member, and that guy met me after school. And I deserved that. I deserved it. But somebody intervened, and I apologized, and I had to deal with punishment at home.
What's your final thoughts on this letter?
Yeah, I want to get to something that, but now the point I wanted to make once we got all into this, it was something that Victor said, and now I can't get to that final thought on. Well, what Victor said about his daughter, about protecting his child and his children and protecting his own. I go back to the letter and say to this woman, because if you listen to what she's saying in the letter, and you have the letter in front of you, Veronica.
I do.
She mentions that she cringes when the father disciplines the child or the children or whenever he did, how he talks to them. And to the point, it seems like, and she didn't go into it, but it seems like she's there's some issues there that she has with him. She didn't go into that issue. She strictly stayed on the children, but she cringes. And at the end of the day, I don't know how much their relationship has been damaged because of this. But at the end of the day, she did come to the final conclusion that, look, does it take for me to leave him? So that is getting to DEFCON 10, to the point that she cannot continue to take this. If you cannot continue to take this and you cannot step in to make changes, then you have to do whatever needs to be done to protect your children. That's what you have to do. And that's my final thoughts.
Mhm.
Hey, Veronica, Vern Baker, I went to church with him. He's a teacher, and he says educators have to differentiate between a student pulling a prank and a student being aggressive. I have worked in environments where with aggressive kids, I'm certified on how to restrain kids. Um, I salute him for being an educator.
Yeah.
They're underappreciated.
Right. Definitely.
I know him personally, so but my
Shouts
final,
out to you, Vern.
yeah, because this is my first time ever seeing him comment, so I definitely wanted.
That's why I gave him the bell.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to give him a shout out. Hey, thanks for the view. Thank everybody for the view.
Yes.
My final thoughts. I mean, like I said, if it weren't for that last part when she's talking about should she stay in a marriage, I mean, I can't tell you what to do when it comes to that because I've never been married. I just feel like she needs to have a conversation with her husband, and if you can't talk to him, then there are certain steps you may need to take. I don't have an opinion either way. I don't want to. That's my final thought. I don't have an opinion either way. But when it comes down to whether you should leave or not, that's something that you and him need to talk about. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, we definitely, and I say it all the time here on the show, we definitely can't tell you to stay or go in a marriage, in a relationship. Only thing we can do is just give our opinions and our thoughts on these letters, but definitely not getting ready to tell you to leave your marriage or to stay in your marriage. That's definitely your choice that you have to make. I would say that you guys definitely need counseling. A lot of times we cancel out going to counseling and talking to these professionals, and we make a mistake by doing that. Like a lot of times people need to go and speak with someone. So you need to go sit in someone's chair. The entire family, the kids, the husband, and yourself need to go have a conversation with the counselor and find out from the kid's mouth what is going on with them, what is bothering them. Sometimes we count kids out. Like we don't want to hear what they have to say. We don't want to take in what is bothering them because we think us being as an adult, we know what it is. When in reality, we don't know half the time what these kids are facing on a day-to-day basis. So you definitely need to go and have counseling. Like I said, I wouldn't say leave the marriage, but I mean, it's your choice when it comes to that. But definitely have counseling to see what's going on.
Hey, Veronica, put Sherry comment up there too. I know we trying to leave.
Sherry
her
or
last
Shelly?
comment
Which one?
says victims of abuse can choose either to go left or right, and unfortunately, there are some that don't know which way is the right way because of the effect the abuse has had on them. That is real.
Yeah. I have a quick question. I have a quick question for y'all.
Because a lot of
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't handle what they went through as children, and now they're adults and they still dealing with things that they went through as kids, and now their children are they're putting the children through the same thing. That's why it's important to get help. Mental abuse is real. Go ahead, Fatine.
Yeah. My quick question to y'all is, if you can, because this is not a big, I mean, this could be a topic down the road. How would Victor and Veronica, how would you have handled your son coming to you like Dwayne Wade's son and said he felt the way he felt, and you saw how they embraced him and let him, he felt like he wanted to dress like a girl, he felt he was that. How would you handle that? How would you deal with that, Victor and then Veronica?
First of all, the way they handled that, they're exploiting that child. Because that little boy is what, 12? He was 12, and he got on halter tops. I wouldn't let my 13-year-old wear no shit like that. He is wearing clothes that a grown child, 16, 17, is not even appropriate at their school. So you're exploiting this child. But one thing I'm going to say, you can be who you want to be outside of my home, but we ain't doing that up in here.
Veronica?
I really don't like touching topics like that, especially when it comes to, celebrity life or whatever. And I mean, to each his own how you take that in. I mean, I'm just saying, we're trying to get sponsors here. But
really?
Yeah.
You think I'm gonna sit up in here and take a picture with a whole homosexual flamer, Lil Nas?
No, I'm not saying
no.
I'm not talking about going to extreme like that, Victor. You always got to go outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, answering the question. Yeah, smoke that. That's hard because I would love my child either way. That's hard to have your child come to you, and I really don't know. I really don't know how to answer. I pray to God that would not happen. But I definitely won't disown my child. I'm not going to disown him for, coming to me and telling me. Is better than being in a closet and living that life as a lie. But that's a hard question for me, because I mean, I can't say
that's why
that
I left it at the end. That's why I left it at the end.
Yeah, I can't say that I would not disown my child. I can't say that. Will it hurt? Most definitely.
That's what she said.
Stop it. Yeah.
I can't stand you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, they have training on jobs now about this kind of stuff now, and the world has just changed. And I'm with Veronica, and and I'm in between Veronica and Victor. I'm not gonna sit there and say I would have embraced it like that, but at the end of the day, you have to, I'm not gonna disown my child, my flesh and blood at the end of the day. And I would just try to understand their point of views at the end of the day. And that's it. But it's not easy, especially, how a lot of us were brought up, but a lot of us was brought up and we seen some of this in our families or friends, and we didn't understand it. We called them names. We did this and did that. And a lot of things we just didn't understand and still don't understand today. And we still have our opinions about it. But one thing I learned now is that I'm not going to be disrespectful or abusive to somebody that may be different, chooses different choices than I do, long as they're not hurting me or being, doing anything to me or doing anything to themselves or anybody else. Each their own life.
I got a cousin that transitioned, and I love my cousin, and I hang out with my cousin. And when I see my cousin, I don't treat he
transition.
He prefers to be called. Yeah, he transitioned. He prefers to
Don't
be
that mean
called.
die? Go
He
ahead.
no longer has a penis, Veronica. He has a vagina and he has breasts now. And I'll hang out with my cousin, but he knows, he knows I don't want that lifestyle, and he wouldn't put me in that predicament. But I love my cousin. It is what it is. I don't have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? But just when it comes to mine, I just whatever you do outside of my home, but just don't bring it around. Just don't bring it in here. So it's what it is.
All right, guys. Great show tonight. Thank our viewers for watching. We appreciate all of your comments. We definitely
before we go, I just wanted to let everybody know Veronica get on my damn nerves. So I just had to put that out there.
How? I didn't even do anything tonight. I was on my best behavior tonight. I did nothing to you. Yeah, talked over me all night. I was sitting here patient. I did marvelous tonight.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I got to read Steven's comment real quick. He said, 15, good question. I'm glad I don't have a son, but I do got 2 grandsons, and I know that shit would hurt me for real. And that's real. That's why I put that question out there. Just a real quick, not judging nobody. It just made me think tonight, so. All right.
Yep, and you might well read Cheryl comment as well, and then we out of here.
Cheryl's comment.
She said, you can do whatever you want outside my house. I wouldn't disown them and I would accept them, but you're not about to dressing like a girl in my house. Thank you, Robin. This is it. We're out of here. Robin says, I love this show, guys, and Victor gets on my damn nerves.
That's Victor's role.
Victor gonna be out of town for a while, so I won't be getting on nobody's nerves.
Yes, you will, because you'll be virtual.
He's gonna be a hologram. That's what she said.
Thank you so much. We he gets on everybody. He gets on everybody, Derek Stevenson. Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you guys for watching each and every Tuesday and Thursday night. So like I always say, we wouldn't be the tea without you guys. Thank you so much. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, if you have topic suggestions, if you have an email letter, hit us up at tangyteaoflife@gmail.com, or you can leave us a message right here on our Facebook page. Thank y'all so much. Don't forget, if you did not give us a thumbs up, go ahead and like our page. Also go to YouTube and do the same. We appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Be safe, and God willing, we'll check y'all out Tuesday. All right. Have a good night, guys.